Chapter 10, Microbes and Human Welfare. Beside the macroscopic plants and animal, microbes are the major component of biological system on this earth. You have studied about the diversity of living organisms in class 11. Do you remember which kingdoms among the living organisms contain microorganisms? Which are the ones that are only microscopic? Microbes are present everywhere in soil, water, air, inside our bodies, and of other animals and plants. They are present even at the site where no other life form could possibly exist. Sites such as the deep inside the gaseous thermal vents where the temperature may be high as 100 degrees Celsius, deep in soil under the layer of snow several meters thick, and in highly acidic environments. Microbes are diverse protozoa, bacteria, fungi, and microscopic plants, viruses, viroids, also prions that are proteinaceous infectious agent. Some of the microbes are shown in figure 10.1 and 10.2. Microbes like bacteria and many fungi can be grown on nutritive media to form colonies that can be seen with naked eyes. Such cultures are also useful in study of microorganisms. Figure 10.1 showing bacteria, rod-shaped, magnified 1500x, spherical shaped magnified 1500x, a rod-shaped bacterium showing flagella magnified 50,000x. In chapter 8, you have read that microbes cause a large number of diseases in human beings. They also cause disease in animals and plants, but this should not make you think that all microbes are harmful. Several microbes are useful to man in diverse ways. Some of the most important contributions of microbes to human welfare are discussed in this chapter. 10.1 Microbes in Household Products. You would be surprised to know that we use microbes or products derived from them every day. A common example of production of curd from milk. Microorganisms such as lactobacillus and other commonly called lactic acid bacteria lab grown in milk and convert to curd. During growth, the lactic acid bacteria produce acids that coagulate and partially digest the milk proteins. A small amount of curd added to the fresh milk as inoculum or starter contains millions of lab, which at suitable temperature multiply, thus converting milk to curd, which also improves its nutritional quality by increasing vitamin 12. In our stomach too, the lactic acid bacteria play a very beneficial role in checking disease-causing microbes. The dough, which is used for making food such as dosa and idli, is also fermented by bacteria. The puffed up appearance of dough is due to the production of carbon dioxide gas. Can you tell which metabolic pathway is taking place resulting in the formation of carbon dioxide? Where do you think the bacteria for this fermentation came from? Similarly, the dough, which is used for making bread, are fermented using baker's yeast Saccharomyces cerevisiae. A number of traditional drinks and foods are also made by fermentation by the microbes. Toddy, a traditional drink of some parts of southern India, is made by fermenting sap from palms. Microbes are also used in fermented fish, soybean, and bamboo shoots to make food. Cheese is one of the oldest food items in which microbes were used. Different varieties of cheese are also known by their characteristic texture, flavor, and taste. The specificity of coming from the microbes used. For example, the large holes in Swiss cheese are due to the production of large amount of CO2 by a bacterium named Propionibacterium shermani. The Roquefort cheese are ripened by growing a specific fungi on them, which gave them the particular flavor. 10.2 Microbes in industrial products. Even in industry, microbes are used to synthesize a number of products valuable to human beings. Beverages and antibiotics are some examples. Production of an industrial scale requires growing microbe in a very large vessel called fermenters. 10.2.1 Fermented beverages. Microbes, especially yeast, have been used from time immemorial for the production of beverages like wine, beer, whiskey, brandy, or rum. For this purpose, the same yeast Saccharomyces cerevisiae used for making bread and commonly called brewer's yeast is used to fermenting malted cereals and fruit juices to produce ethanol. Do you recollect the metabolic reactions which result in the production of ethanol by yeast? Depending on the type of the raw material used for fermentation and the type of processing with or without distillation, different type of alcoholic drinks are obtained. Wine and beer are produced without distillation, whereas whiskey, brandy, and rum are produced by distillation of the fermented broth. The photograph of fermentation plant is shown in figure 10.5. 10.2.2 Antibiotics. Antibiotics produced by microbes are regarded as one of the most significant discoveries of 20th century and have greatly contributed towards the welfare of human society. Anti is a Greek word that means against and bio means life. Together they means against life in context of disease causing organism. Whereas with reference to human beings they are pro life and not against. Antibiotics are chemical substances which are produced by some microbes and can kill or retard the growth of other disease causing microbes. You are familiar with the commonly used antibiotic penicillin. Do you know that penicillin was the first antibiotic to be discovered and it was a chance discovery? Alexander Fleming, while working on Staphylococci bacteria, once observed a mold growing in one of his unwashed culture plates around which Staphylococci could not grow. He found that this was due to the chemical produced by the mold and he named it penicillin after the mold Penicillium notatum. However, its full potential as effective antibiotic was established much later by Ernest Chain and Howard Florey. This antibiotic was extensively used to treat American soldiers wounded in the World War II. Fleming, Chain, and Florey were awarded the Nobel Prize in 1945 for this discovery. After penicillin, other antibiotics were also purified from other microbes. Can you name some antibiotics and find out their sources? Antibiotics have greatly improved our capacity to treat deadly disease such as plague, whooping cough, also known as kali khasi, diphtheria, galgotu, and leprosy, kushtrog, which used to kill millions of all over the globe. Today, we cannot imagine a world without antibiotics. 10.2.3 Chemicals, enzymes, and other bioactive molecules. Microbes are also used for commercial and industrial production of certain chemical like organic acid, alcohol, and enzyme. Example of acid producers Aspergillus niger, a fungus of citric acid, Acetobacter aceti, a bacterium of acetic acid, Clostridium butylicum, a bacterium of butyric acid, and Lactobacillus, a bacterium of lactic acid. Yeast, Saccharomyces cerevisiae, is used for commercial production of ethanol. Microbes are also used for production of enzymes. Lipases used in detergent formulation are also helpful in removing oily stains from the laundry. You must have noticed that bottled fruit juice bought from the market are clearer as compared to those made of foam. This is because of the bottled juice are clarified by use of pectinases and proteases. Streptokinase produced by bacterium Streptococcus are modified by genetic engineering is used to be a clot buster for removing clots from the blood vessel of patients who have undergone myocardial infarction leading to the heart attack. Another bioactive molecule, cyclosporin A, that is used as an immunosuppressive agent in organ transplant patients, is produced by the fungus Trichoderma polysporum. Statins produced by the yeast Monascus purpurus have been commercialized as blood cholesterol lowering agents. It acts by competitively inhibiting the enzyme responsible for synthesis of cholesterol. 10.3 Microbes in sewage treatment. We know that large quantities of wastewater was generated every day in cities and towns. A major component of this waste is human excreta. This municipal wastewater is also called sewage. It contains large amount of organic matter and microbes, many of which are pathogenic. Have you ever wondered where this huge quantity of sewage or urban wastewater is disposed of daily? This cannot be discharged into natural water bodies like rivers and streams directly. You can understand why. before disposal. Hence, sewage is treated in sewage treatment plants (STPs) to make it less polluting. Treatment of wastewater is done by the heterotrophic microbes naturally present in the sewage. This treatment is carried out in two stages. First, primary treatment. These treatment steps basically involve physical removal of particles, large and small, from the sewage through filtration and sedimentation. These are removed in stages. Initially, floating debris is removed by sequential filtration. Then grit, soil and small pebbles are removed by sedimentation. All solids that settle form the primary sludge, and the supernatant forms the effluent. The effluent from the primary settling tank is taken for secondary treatment. Secondary treatment or biological treatment. The primary effluent is passed into large aeration tanks where it is constantly agitated mechanically and air is pumped into it. This allows vigorous growth of useful aerobic microbes into flocks. Masses of the bacteria associated with fungal filaments to form mesh-like structures. While growing, these microbes consume the major of all organic matter in the effluent. This significantly reduces the BOD, biochemical oxygen demand, of the effluent. Biochemical oxygen demand refers to the amount of oxygen that would be consumed if all the organic matter in 1 liter of water were oxidized by bacteria. The sewage water is treated till the biochemical oxygen demand is reduced. The biochemical oxygen demand test measures the rate and uptake of oxygen by microorganisms in a sample of water, and thus indirectly biochemical oxygen demand is a measure of the organic matter present in the water. The greater the biochemical oxygen demand of wastewater, more is its polluting potential. Once the biochemical oxygen demand of sewage or wastewater is reduced significantly, the effluent is then passed into a settling tank where the bacterial flocks are allowed to sediment. The sediment is called activated sludge. A small part of activated sludge is pumped back into the aeration tank to serve as inoculum. The remaining major part of sludge is pumped into large tank called anaerobic sludge digesters. Here, another kinds of bacteria which grow anaerobically digest the bacteria and fungi in the sludge. During this digestion, bacteria produce a mixture of gases such as methane, hydrogen sulfide, and carbon dioxide. These gases form biogas and can be used as source of energy as it is inflammable. The effluent from the secondary treatment plant is generally released into natural water bodies like rivers and streams. An aerial view of such a plant is shown in figure 10.7. You can appreciate how microbes play a major role in treating millions of gallons of wastewater every day across the globe. This methodology has been practiced for more a century now. In almost all parts of the world till date, no man-made technology has been able to rival the microbial treatment of sewage. You are aware that due to increasing urbanization, sewage is being produced in much larger quantities than ever before. However, the number of sewage treatment plants has not been increased enough to treat such large quantities, so the untreated sewage is often discharged directly into rivers, leading to their pollution and increase in waterborne diseases. The Ministry of Environmental and Forest has initiated Ganga Action Plan and Yamuna Action Plan to save these major rivers of our country from pollution. Under these plans, it is proposed to build a large number of sewage treatment plants so that only treated sewage may be discharged in the rivers. A visit to sewage treatment plant situated in any place near you would be very interesting and educating experience. 10.4 Microbes in production of biogas. Biogas is a mixture of gases containing predominantly methane produced by the microbial activity and which may be used as fuel. You have learned that microbes produce different types of gaseous end products during growth and metabolism. The type of the gas produced depends upon the microbes and organic substrates they utilize. In the example cited in the relation of fermentation of dough, cheese making, and production of beverages, the main gas produced was CO2. However, certain bacteria which grow anaerobically on cellulosic material produce large amount of methane along with carbon dioxide and hydrogen gas. These bacteria are collectively called methanogens, and one such common bacterium is Methanobacterium. These bacteria are commonly found in anaerobic sludge during sewage treatment. These bacteria are also present in the rumen, a part of stomach of cattle. A lot of cellulosic material present in the food of cattle is also present in the rumen. In rumen, these bacteria help in breakdown of cellulose and play an important role in the nutrition of cattle. Do you think we human beings are able to digest the cellulose present in our food? Thus, the excreta, dung of cattle, commonly called as gobar, is rich in this bacteria. Dung can be used for generation of biogas, commonly called gobar gas. The biogas plant consists of concentrate tank 10 to 15 feet deep in which bio-wastes are collected and slurry of dung is fed. A floating cover is placed over the slurry which keeps on rising as the gas is produced in the tank due to the microbial activity. The biogas plant has an outlet which is connected to the pipe to supply biogas to nearby houses. The spent slurry is removed through the another outlet and may be used as fertilizer. Cattle dung is available in large quantities in rural areas where cattle are used for a variety of purposes. So, biogas plants are more often built in rural areas. The biogas thus produced is used for cooking and lighting. The picture of biogas plant is shown in figure 10.8. The technology of biogas production was developed in India mainly due to the efforts of Indian Agriculture Research Institute and Khadi and Village Industries Commission KVIC. If your school is situated in a village or near a village, it would be very interesting to inquire if there are any biogas plants nearby. Visit the biogas plant and learn more about it from the people who are actually managing it. 10.5 Microbes as biocontrol agents. Biocontrol refers to use of biological methods for controlling plant disease and pest. In modern society, these problems have been tackled increasingly by the use of by the use of insecticides and pesticides. These chemicals are toxic and extremely harmful to human beings and animals alike and have been polluting our environment, soil, ground, and water. Fruits, vegetables, and crops, plants. Our soil is also polluted through our use of weedicides to remove weeds. Biological control of pests and diseases. In agriculture, there is a method of controlling pests that relies on natural predation rather than introduce chemicals. A key belief of organic farmer is that biodiversity further helps. The more variety of landscape has the more sustainable in it. The organic farmer therefore works to create a system where the insects that are sometimes called pests are not eradicated, but instead are kept at manageable levels by a complex system of checks and balances within a living or vibrant ecosystem. Contrary, the conventional farming process practices which often use chemical methods to kill both useful and harmful life forms indiscriminately. This is a holistic approach that seeks to develop an understanding of waves and interaction between the myriad of organisms that constitute the field of flora and fauna. The organic farmer holds the view that the eradication of creatures that are often described as pests, is not only possible but also undesirable, for without them the beneficially predatory and parasitic insects which depends upon them as food or host would not be able to survive. Thus, the use of biocontrol measures will greatly reduce our dependence on toxic chemicals and pesticides. An important part of the biological farming approach is to become familiar with the various life forms that inhabit the field, predators as well as pests, and also their life cycles, patterns of feeding, and habitats that they prefer. This will help develop appropriate means of biocontrol. The very familiar beetle with red and black markings, the ladybirds and dragonflies, are useful to get rid of aphids and mosquito respectively. An example of microbial biocontrol agent that can be introduced in order to control butterfly caterpillars is the bacteria Bacillus thuringiensis, often written as BT. These are available in sachets as dried spores, which are mixed with water and sprayed into vulnerable plants such as brassicaceae and fruit trees. where these are eaten by the insect's larvae. In the gut of larvae, the toxin released as the larvae get killed. In the gut of the larvae, the toxin is released and the larvae gets killed. The bacterial disease will kill the caterpillars but leave other insects unharmed. Because of the development of method of genetic engineering, in the last decade or so, the scientists have introduced B. thuringiasis toxin genes into plants. Such plants are resistant to attack by insect pest. Bt cotton is such example, which is being cultivated in some states of our country. You will learn about more in chapter 12. A biological control being developed for use in the treatment of plant disease is the fungus trichoderma. Trichoderma species are free-living fungi that are very commonly used in root ecosystems. They are effective biocontrol agents of several plant pathogens. Baculovirus are pathogens that attack insects and other arthropods. The majority of baculoviruses used as biological control agents are in the genus Nucleopolyhedrovirus. These viruses are excellent candidates for specific species, narrow spectrum insecticidal applications. They have been shown to have no negative impacts on plants, mammals, birds, fish, or even non target insects. This is especially desirable when benefit insects are being conserved to aid in all overall integrated pest management IPM program or when an ecologically sensitive area is being treated. Microbes as biofertilizers. With our present day lifestyles, environmental pollution is a major cause of concern. The use of chemical fertilization to meet the ever increasing demand of agricultural produce has been contributed significantly to the pollution. Of course, we have now realized that there are problems associated with the overuse of chemical fertilizers and there is a large pressure to switch off the organic farming. The use of biofertilizers. Biofertilizers are organisms that enrich the nutrient quality of soil. The main sources of biofertilizers are bacteria, fungi, and cyanobacteria. You have studied about the nodules of the roots of leguminous plants formed by the symbiotic association rhizobium. This bacteria fix atmosphere nitrogen into organic form. Atmospheric forms, which is used by the plant as nutrient. Other bacteria can fix atmospheric nitrogen while free living in the soil, example azospirillum and azotobacter, thus enriching the nitrogen content of soil. Fungi are also known to form symbiotic association with plants mycorrhizae. Many members of the genus Glomus form mycorrhizae. The fungal symbiotant in this association absorbs phosphorus from soil and passes it into the plant. Plants having such association show other benefits also, such as resistance to root-borne pathogens, tolerance to salinity and drought, and an overall increase in plant growth and development. Can you tell what advantage the fungus derive from this association? Cyanobacteria are autotrophic microbes widely distributed in aquatic and terrestrial environment. Many of these can fix atmospheric nitrogen, Anabina nostoc, ossiculatoria, etc. In paddy fields, cyanobacteria serve as an important biofertilizer. Green algae is also add organic matter to the soil and increase the fertility. Currently, in our country, a number of biofertilizers are available commercially in the market, and farmers use this regularly in their field to replenish soil nutrients to reduce dependence of chemical fertilizers. Thank you.